after World War II, from dark green to dark blue. Then they went to the dark blue major, and then of course on to the light blue. And here she comes, our famous Titan. They weren't too artistic about their styling in those days, purely functional, isn't it? As you can see, they parade around the ring and then they line up in the middle. And the crowd are then invited in to have a session with their cameras, or conversation with the owners, and that's how things are learnt. And we even get tractor spotters there, you know. You don't only get train spotters and plane spotters, we got tractor spotters at these shows. Another rarity here, this is the John Deere. John Deere of America, well, great and famous make. That's got a flat engine, a horizontal engine, but this time twin cylinder. There's the Fordson with the high lift. And that's the little Ferguson with the gold engine when they upgraded the engine. And here's an old Field Marshal back in her original state, look, unrestored. But I'll bet that'll last for another 100 years yet. But every time they stop and just tick over, that poor old driver really shakes his ribs about, despite the padding. These are unusual little David Browns, as much as they got a side-by-side seat on them. This was useful when they were pulling contract equipment from farm to farm. The second man could always ride on the tractor. Something that hadn't been thought of before. He either sort of stood up on behind or come on behind on his bike. Another version of it here. You can see how he's sat offset there. Some of these are beautifully restored. And Castlecombe is one of the early rallies in the season, being held in May. And you can see the satisfaction on these chaps' faces that at last they've started their rally season. It certainly is a long parade because we have a lot of tractors here. It takes a long time to motor them gently into the ring. Then they line up and then we have to chat about them again and keep the crowd happy with the cameras as they mosey on back to their hard standing again. But it's a lovely place here, Castlecombe, and for tractors, well, this is the place to come. Interesting Fordson here, it's the Fordson Dexter, but it's been converted. Do you know why? Because the driver is an invalid and he can get up in the back of that with his wheelchair. He's not going to be missed out. Good luck to him. The sign on the front of this little Allis-Chalmers here shows it's got a Perkins engine. That'll be the 3-cylinder P3. Later Massey-Ferguson, complete with cab. He's got the another Perkins engined track lane tractor on the back. Allis-Chalmers, I believe. More equipment fitted to the Fordson Major. As you can see, these are very common and very popular, these Fordson Majors. Many of them still working in our fields. Now then, it ain't all British and American. A lot of people, these yuppies, are fond of having a Porsche. I bet they wouldn't like one of those to drive up and down the city. That was a Porsche. You can sense the reliability when you listen and watch that old Marshall, can't you? Marshalls of Gainsborough. Of course, always a well-known producer of steam before that. One of our little market garden, probably a Ransom. Once again, unrestored. It's nice to see them this way. One of our old characters with his little Ferguson. He used to bring a tractor he built himself, but I don't think it's advisable to bring that too many times. Little Pioneer roller there. Doing a fair rate of knots. What a fine and colourful lineup it is. Reds and greens, and a few blue. Very interesting blue here, the little Unihorse. One of our miniature tractors designed for the market garden and small plot. Not a toy, although it certainly looks like it. Many of these tractors you can tell by the colour, because the manufacturer stuck to the same colour all the way through. That is, except Fordsons, who for different eras and different reasons changed their colours from orange to dark green to blue and light blue. Well, what's it like to own and run a tractor at these rallies? Good fun, and with good comradeship, I can assure you. They always get plenty of attention, and that's what people that exhibit at rallies like, not in a conceited way, but they like to talk about their particular pride and joy. And these old tractors are their pride and joy. Some of them have got quite a collection. They aren't the people that go on a sort of London to Brighton road run, although there have been road runs for tractors. But they're a pride to own and a joy to run in a leisurely sort of way. And that's the way you want to feel when you go to a rally of a weekend. You don't want anything hectic, do you? Not many starting problems. There's that interesting Perkins engined standard Fordson there. And our Pattison, still carrying the staff around. Yes, Model T Fords were not only built as cars, they were built as trucks and many other agricultural and industrial adaptations. Many of these owners and drivers will leisurely make their way, as they are doing now, back to the bottom of the field where all the tractors are lined and parked up together, and switch it off and have a chat, and then wander round, possibly to the Alta Jumble, to see what else they can find, bits and pieces. Of course, all vehicles owners do this if they're in the restoration business. See what they can find, and it might be something to start them building yet another vehicle, or it might be something just to keep the old one going. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how many of these little Fergusons were built as a result of Harry Ferguson, that famous Irishman's masterpiece. By inventing that three-point system, he revolutionized the use of agricultural tractors. No longer did you have to clutter up your farmyard with various pieces of machinery. They were much smaller as they all fitted onto that three-point system. As I said, they start easily, but not always. These big McCormicks built by Internationals were some built in America, but International did have its own factory over in this country and produced literally thousands for the farmers. It's an interesting subject when you start studying the tractors, right from the old stalwart there, like the standard Fortune. And that's another machine that had many adaptations. They were turned around the other way to be used as dumpers in quarries, and Chaysides and various people like that. Muir Hills converted them to mechanical shovels. They were used in industry with different gearing. They were used in the services. And you can chat to some of these people about the origins of the various machines, and believe me, you can spend a very interesting day at a place like this. Somebody's been up the Auto Jumbo and made a find, look. Not many farmers especially in the southwest of England, had a tractor up until the war. Many farmers built their own small tractor from a car, which they would cut the body off the back. Don't try and do it with a modern car, they fold up. But when the old cars had chassis, they could do this. Some of them geared them down and made motor mowers. They built their own farm utility, as it were. And then during the war, when agricultural and more ploughing had to be in the offing because of the produce that had to be produced, well then we had help from the War Agricultural Committee, providing land girls, etc., to plough up your land, and then farmers realised it was an important thing and started buying their own tractors. But up until World War II, most of our farms in around this area, everything was done by horse. And to plough a big field, when you think you walk about 11 miles to plough an acre, well, it was a happy relief for the ploughman, I think, when he took over tractor driving. Lucky chap there. I'm sure he could sell his number plate and buy another tractor. I wonder if he'll restore that one day and put it back in its pristine original state, as our BMC driver has here. Yes, these BMC Nuffields were something new, as I said, after the war, but direct competition with the Fortune, but I don't think they ever pushed the Fortunes off their pedestals, you might put it. Always a good solid seller was the Ford. Porsche again. You've only got to take one quick look at that and realise that it's not a British or American built tractor. You can see that smart European line to it, can't you? Certainly different. Very rare too. There's a little grey Fergie. It's lost nearly all its paint. But old Reg there brings it along and always got it running. He's that sort of person. Some of these will run on petrol all day, but normally you'd start them on petrol and they run on TVO, which is tractor vaporizing oil. And there's the pilot's cockpit, look. There's the foot control on the right that you press down for clutch and right down for brake, and your throttle was operated by hand. So simple. 3 forwards, 1 reverse. The old favourite pan seat. There's none of our Porsches, slightly more Porsche looking than the other one. But still, the old simple pan seat. Quite a lot of people collect just the tractor seats. I have from time to time seen very interesting displays of the not only tractors but farm implement seats of that era. Quite a colourful, attractive patterns, shapes they are too. It's good to wander around down here because they have all switched off. It's much quieter and you get a chance to poke your nose in around everywhere. Just look at the simplicity of the mechanics of them. But as I've said many times, simplicity means reliability, doesn't it? A lot of work to be done here, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if next year at Castle Coombe this is going around the ring in all its glory. You can see here how the front axle is adjustable for width and track. Yeah, a lot to be done. Well, I hope you enjoy